Today is September 9th, 2016, and today we're covering lines and transversals. The first thing you need to know when covering lines and transversals is some vocabulary. And the first vocabulary you need to know is exterior versus interior. When it comes to lines and transversal, and we talk exterior versus interior, we're dealing with the lines that are intersected, which means that when you're looking to see if it's exterior or interior, you're looking at the lines that are being intersected by their transversal to figure out if they're exterior or interior. Exterior would be outside of the lines being intersected, and interior would be inside. Here's another viewpoint. Again, exterior is outside of the two lines being intersected, interior inside. Alright, another two terms you're going to need to know is alternate versus same side. Although you will not see it as same side, you will see it as the word consecutive. Consecutive means same side. The thing about alternate versus same side is you're no longer looking at the lines. Alternate versus same side deals with the transversal. So when you look to see if they're alternate or same side or consecutive, you're looking at the transversal in reference to the transversal. So like on this diagram right here, alternate means opposite sides of the transversal. And consecutive means same side of the transversal, but on different lines. Both alternate and consecutive are on different lines. So the transversal is the one that intersects both of the lines, and alternate is opposite sides on different lines. The consecutive is same side on different lines. There's another viewpoint again. Alternate, opposite sides of the transversal. Same side or consecutive, same side. Now, if we look at this diagram, line T is intersecting lines J and K. Line T is called your transversal. So line T is my transversal. Okay? A transversal is simply a line that passes through two lines in the same plane at different points. They all have to be in the same plane. Now, when you have a line that passes through two lines on the same plane, you have a transversal, there are some relationships and angles formed by a transversal. The first one is a corresponding angle. A corresponding angle is same side same place, different line, such as 2 and 6 here in this diagram. These are corresponding angles. They're on the same side of the transversal, same place, just on different lines. Okay? Another angle relationship you will find are alternate interior angles. Alternate interior angles, alternate means opposite sides of the transversal, inside the two lines being intersected, and of course on different lines. Now another relationship you will read about and you will find you have to learn is alternate exterior. Alternate exterior, again, opposite sides of the transversal for alternate. On the exterior of the lines being intersected, and again on different lines. The last one I have a diagram for is consecutive interior angles. Consecutive means they're on the same side of the transversal, interior, the inside of the line, but again on different lines. The one not shown would be consecutive exterior angles, which is the same preface, same side, outside the line, but on different lines. Now, another thing that causes a lot of cool relationships with these types of angles formed from a transversal is if the two lines being intersected are what we call parallel, meaning they do not intersect. If a transversal intersects two parallel lines, there are some postulates and theorems that come about. The first postulate is corresponding angles are congruent. Then we've got alternate exterior angles are congruent, alternate interior angles are congruent, and consecutive angles are supplementary. I have an easy way for remembering this. When it comes to parallel lines that cut through transversals, all is congruent except linear and consecutive. Which are supplementary. Okay. So again, everything is congruent except linear pairs and consecutive angles, which are supplementary. It's a really easy way to remember all that. So if I were to sit here and name my corresponding angles, I would name angle 1 and angle 5, angle 3 and angle 7, angle 2 and angle 6, angle 4 and angle 8. Alternate interior angles, I would have angle 3 and angle 6, and angle 4 and angle 5. Alternate exterior, angle 1 and angle 8, angle 7 and angle 2. For consecutive interior angles, you would have angle 3 and angle 5, and angle 4 and angle 6. So now let's see if we can identify some on our own. We're going to identify the angle type, and we are going to tell whether or not those two angles are congruent or supplementary. So the first ones they want us to look at is angle 1 and angle 9. Okay? I'm looking at angle 1 and angle 9. Those would be, they're on the same side of the transversal, because this is the transversal right here. They're on the same side, but they're not both inside the lines. They're not both outside the lines. one's inside and one is outside, they're in the same position. So those are corresponding. And just like my saying says, everything's congruent except for consecutive and linear pairs. So these are congruent because they are not consecutive or linear. They are corresponding. Now they want us to look at angle 8 and angle 13. Here's 8, here's 13. So I ask myself the same question. Are they on the same side of the transversal, or are they on opposite sides? I'm seeing they're on the same side, so that means they're either consecutive or corresponding. Then I ask, are they both inside the lines or both outside the lines? They are inside, so these would be consecutive interior angles. Now, remembering my saying again, everything is congruent except for consecutive and linear. These are consecutive, so these must be supplementary. Alright, the next angle relationship they want us to look at is 6 and 16. When I look at them, are they on the same side or are they on opposite sides? Clearly, they're on opposite sides of this transversal. So that was going to be alternate. Are they inside the lines or outside the lines? They are outside, so these would be alternate exterior lines. And everything is congruent except for consecutive and linear, so these are congruent. Last one they ask for is angle 4 and angle 10. So again, I ask myself, are they on alternate sides of the transversal, or are they on the same side? They're obviously on alternate sides, so they're going to be alternate. Are they inside those lines, these lines, or are they outside? Obviously they're inside, so that's alternate interior. Everything is congruent except consecutive and linear, so these would be congruent because they are not consecutive or linear. Okay. Alright, so then we look at our classwork. We're going to do the same thing here, except now we're putting angle measures in. So they tell me the measure of angle 1 is 100 degrees. I need to know what I know about vertical angles, linear pairs, and the new angle relationships in order to get all the rest of the angles. My advice is solve all the angles first, then go and answer your questions. So if I look, I notice that angle 1 and angle 3 are vertical, so I know that angle 3 will also be 100. Then I notice that angle 1 and angle 2 are a linear pair, so to get angle 2, I would have to take 180 and subtract the 100, and I would get that angle 2 is 80 degrees. And angle 2 and angle 4 are vertical, so that would make angle 4 80 degrees also. Okay. Now, using what I know about the new angle relationships, if I look at angle 1, it corresponds with angle 5, which tells me angle 5 is the same as angle 1. And knowing that, I also know that angle 7 is vertical to angle 5, so it's also 100 degrees. I can do the same thing with my 80s. Angle 4 and angle 6 are alternate interior, and those are congruent, so angle 6 would be 80 degrees. 6 and 8 are vertical, so 8 would be 80 degrees. Now I can simply come over here and fill in what they want to know. What's the measure of angle 2? 80 degrees. Angle 3, 100 degrees. angle 480 degrees. See how much easier this is to answer now that I have everything filled out. So there are some pointers for you to be able to finish up your work and take care of transversals.